Hey everybody, to my Q&A where I take your questions that you sent to me on my Instagram and answer them for you. So let's get started. Okay, this is a question I took even last week. This one is about starting your workout after recovering from COVID. So after recovering from COVID, or even if you are going back to the gym after a longer time, make sure you take things at your own pace. Okay, don't try to rush your progress. Treat yourself like a beginner and go easy, because if you get too sick, too sore, or if you get to a place where you're not able to recover early on, it will simply spoil the progress that you could have otherwise made, because recovery in those stages takes a lot longer than it would at a later stage. So it's better you start slow and then work your way up, and then push as far as your intensity allows you. So that would be most of what you need to know regarding training. Do some form of cardiovascular activity just to help with your stamina, endurance, and your lung capacity. And as far as nutrition goes, make sure that you're getting back into some sort of a structured eating plan if you haven't been doing that already. If you have, then make sure you stick to it. Eat enough protein, get your vegetables, fiber, stay well hydrated, and take all the supplements that you need to take. Make sure you get enough sleep and you're able to manage your stress more effectively. Moving on, this question is on uric acid. So she says, my uric acid has increased to 8.69. I have started medication and have been asked to avoid protein. What should I do? So if your uric acid is high, it could be multiple reasons, right? From blood sugar issues to thyroid to kidney function. So uric acid is something that is naturally produced in the body as a byproduct, which needs to be thrown out, and it needs to be filtered out by the kidneys. Now, if the uric acid is building up in the body, it means that something is not right. So obviously, if you have spoken to your medical practitioner, they would have given you some medication to take care of that. So you also want to understand what the underlying cause might be. I'm not getting into it right now because I don't have enough information to help you with it. But in terms of food that you need to avoid, all your meats, red meats, organ meats, beans, legumes, and mushroom, cauliflower, broccoli, spinach, and a few things like that. There's a list of foods that you're supposed to avoid when you're in such a situation. Also, make sure that you don't eat fruits and vegetables that have too many seeds in them, and make sure that you stay very, very well hydrated. Now, as far as the protein intake is concerned, so if you're looking at protein, I think low fat, dairy, as well as eggs can be somewhat included in your plan. Just make sure that you are consuming the bare minimum amount required. And at this point, what you can do is rely on carbohydrates, fruits, vegetables, and a little bit of protein, and some nuts and seeds to help balance your diet and to have a well-rounded eating plan, because most of the protein sources will not be allowed, especially if you are on medication. So make sure you consult your doctor, listen to what they're saying, because this thing is temporary. You will be able to overcome whatever it is. If it is something that is related to some genetic polymorphism, something in the family, make sure you are addressing that. Okay, because it might come back, and you want to make sure that you're taking care of that. Moving on. Okay, if the gym starts from next month, lightweight lena chahiye ya heavy for muscle gaining? Okay, so if your goal is to gain muscle, you've got to follow the simple principle of progressive overload. Okay, you need to basically put your muscle to work. Very simple. But the thing is, if you've had a very long break and you have not done anything during this period, then you need to really reevaluate how you want to kind of restart your training program. you want to start from the bare minimum work and slowly add volume as you go. Adding volume in the sense adding reps, poundage or sets as you go through the weeks, and see how you build up to it. And if you get to a point where you're unable to recover from your workouts, that is when you need to take some time off and deload, and then you start over. Okay, I mean, I'm putting it in really simple terms, but if your goal is to gain muscle, you need to focus on training hard and eating properly, because training for muscle gain and fat loss can be similar provided your nutrition allows you to achieve that goal. Okay, so if you're trying to gain muscle, make sure you're having enough protein, enough carbs, enough fat to keep you in a calorie surplus. Moving on. Okay, is 3 months enough for abs? Okay, first of all, yes, of course, we all have abs, and it's just a matter of getting them to show. The question is, how long is it going to take? Okay, we often tend to underestimate the amount of body fat we carry. Okay, so if you think that, oh, if I lose 10 kgs, I'm going to get my six pack, it's probably another 7.5 to 10 kgs more, if not at least that much, because you don't really see how much fat you have left to lose. We always think that, just a few kgs here and there and it'll be all right, but you end up having to lose a lot more than you intended to. Okay, so obviously it depends on what is your current situation, and I haven't seen your pictures to tell you whether 12 weeks is enough for you to get lean or not. But from a realistic standpoint, for somebody who is not in the fitness field, in the sense that you're not competing or you're not an athlete, losing 1% of 0.82% of your body weight per week would be ideal. If you go at a pace which will allow you to lose the maximum amount of fat. Now the question is, from here you need to back calculate as to how much fat do you have that you need to lose, and thereafter calculate how much time you need to lose that amount of fat. Simple. Because people think that it's gonna happen a lot faster than it actually is going to. So be prepared for the grind, and it's gonna take its time. So be patient. Okay. Moving on. Okay, I have 2 questions about me. I'll just take them. One is, what's my height? My height is 165 centimeters, or around 5 feet 5 inches. And my birthday is on the 12th of April. So yes, that's that. Okay, I'm taking the last question for today, which is tips for bulking. So I'm just going to rattle these straight off of my head. There's no particular sequence. Very important is to be in a calorie surplus. Okay, you need to be eating more calories than you are burning. Very simple. You just need to make sure that you are really calculated about how you're planning your nutrition, and add 200 to 400 calories to that, and slowly take it at your own pace. Now, that's number 1. Gaining weight should be done in a slow, steady pace. Don't try to do too much too soon, because that's often going to land you in a situation where you're just gaining fat and water, and then you're just looking like a fluffy mess. That's not something you're looking for. You want to make sure that you're gaining quality lean tissues, so you want to give it enough time to do that. Make sure you're having enough carbohydrates. People often think that you need a lot of protein, but once you hit a certain your basic protein threshold, you need to add a lot of carbohydrates as you progress into the bulk, because what's going to happen is this is where, between carbohydrates and fat, is where you're going to get all your extra calories from, and that's what you need to focus on, because more carbs would mean better energy in your workout, better performance, and therefore more muscle gain. Okay. The next one being in terms of training, push yourself, especially when it comes to resistance training. Do not overdo the cardio. Do enough cardio. Do as much as you need for your heart. But overdoing it is not really a good thing, because it would affect how well you would recover from your weight training sessions. So if you're doing cardio, I would suggest if you're doing interval training or high intensity training, you want to reduce the duration, maybe about 10 to 15 minutes. Or if you're doing low intensity steady state cardio, you can go for a higher time duration, simply because that would not affect your recovery. Because when you're bulking or when you're trying to gain muscle, you want to focus on making sure that you're getting enough food, you're able to recover well, you're sleeping well, and optimize all the factors that are required for you to get big. So what you need to make sure is that you are prioritizing your resistance training, working with a really good program, working on areas where you need improvement, create a nice program using really sound exercise selection principles, and you're going to be good to go. So just like I said, for fat loss, you would like to lose 1% of your body weight per week. What you can do is have somewhat of a similar target as you gain as well. Give yourself enough time to make sure that you're gaining slowly, steadily, as well as increasing strength. When it comes to supplements, I think one of the most beneficial supplements for gaining is creatine. You can look at adding creatine to your nutrition program in order to kind of help you get stronger at the gym, and therefore build muscle in the longer time frame. So make sure that you're really being very sincere, because bulking is just not about eating and just sitting around. Make sure you're pushing yourself at the gym in terms of your diet as well as your sleep, and try to make the most of what you have given your current situation. Okay, so that's pretty much it. That wraps up our Q&A for this week. Make sure you like, comment, ask me any questions. If you do, follow me on Instagram. You can send me your questions on my DM. I will surely try my best to take it in our following Q&As. Thank you so much for watching. I had a lot of fun. See you guys soon.